Speaking of Marvel, Captain Marvel is in the news. Oscar winner Brie Larson is reportedly in very early talks. No offer has been made, but she is Marvel's pick to be Carol Danvers. What do you think about that? IGN's biggest Brie Larson fan.
I love me some Brie Larson, Envy Adams. No, I think tremendously talented, likable, charismatic actress. Just won an Oscar for a reason, for Room, and she's one of those people where, because I just referenced Envy Adams. I love her in Scott Pilgrim, and if you look at her in Scott Pilgrim and you look at her in Room, it's like you're looking at two different people.
Yeah.
I mean, she is truly an excellent actress. So I'm super excited by it. I think it's it makes perfect sense for the kind of actors Marvel goes after and gets these days. Again, right now it says she's the front runner, so she hasn't signed on. But
they say that she's leaning towards doing it, though. She seems
yeah.
like. I mean, and for her, do you think that's a stupid question? But I'm going to ask it: is it a good career move for her?
Oh, yeah, it's an excellent career move because the movie she won an Oscar for was also a tiny movie that not a lot of people saw.
Yeah.
So she's still in no way a famous. I mean, obviously she's got fans, but she's not like a celebrity.
I think she could walk into like Starbucks and not be recognized.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially not in LA,
Yeah.
She's still not famous. A lot of people still haven't heard of her.
Or they get her mixed up with Allison Brie, who they still don't know, probably, is like, oh, it's that name I hear. Oh, it's not that one from the newsroom. No, that's Allison Pill.
Allison Brie will get her comic book movie too.
Yeah, everyone will, especially with the community connections here. Why don't you fill people in on this?
I just thought it was funny that obviously the Russos are now like the directors at Marvel, and they've in the last two Cap movies they gave Danny Pudi a cameo in Winter Soldier, and then Jim Rash one in Civil War. That was very, very specifically because they were the main directors on Community. And so it was funny to me because Brie Larson did have a recurring role as Abed, Danny Pudi's girlfriend, on 3 episodes of Community, although it was after the Russos weren't that involved. But it was I'm a huge Community fan, so if they want to just keep taking people from Community's cast. One thing I do want to address, saw some people debating yesterday about Brie Larson being pretty young for Captain Marvel.
Yeah, she's 26.
26, and that's both on perception, just people saying, I would imagine Captain Marvel older, but also because she's supposed to be like a major in the Air Force before Origin. Valid, and I will also say that there's certainly, I'll open this door a little bit and say, yeah, like there's the sort of quiet, weird sexism that can pop up, I think, in Hollywood is pretty present when you look at the fact that Jeremy Renner, Mark Ruffalo, and of course Downey all cast as superheroes well into their 40s. And how much more hesitation I'm sure Hollywood would have, because I would used to talk about how I thought Trisha Helfer would make a good Captain Marvel, but I
always wanted Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah. And
who's also in her 40s.
Right, who are both in their 40s, probably be great. And yes, it's true. Studios, they can be very ageist and sexist and not play on a level playing field.
Eric Goldman says Marvel is ageist and sexist. There we go.
The system. So there is something valid to that, and I hope that as we go on, I mean, it's cool that Cate Blanchett's playing the villain in Thor Ragnarok, but she's still not getting to play like
because old people are evil, Eric.
Evil. But Brie Larson, A, she's great. B, when Marvel is looking ahead, because obviously they're going to sign all these people to multi-picture deals, and by the time the Captain Marvel movie opens, she'll be like 30, and so I gotta back my girl Brie. While I also acknowledge that hopefully we'll get to a place where Marvel has way more female superheroes and that they're not all in their 20s.
I will say my cousin was in the Air Force,
teens.
and he, I want to say he left with the rank of major or maybe captain, and he was in his 30s.
Well, they'll do the line about like Carol Danvers, she was the youngest major. They'll do that. Graduated
writing the script for you here. And the script is by, what's her name, Nicola
Pearl something? Yeah.
Who did Guardians 2 with James Gunn, right?
Well, she wrote the early drafts.
She's co-writing this one, I think.
She's co-writing Captain Marvel. Yeah, she wrote Gunn. They've basically said that Gunn did like a pretty dramatic rewrite of her stuff. But to her credit, no matter what made it on screen, she is what got Guardians made into a movie because Marvel basically responded to her script. And decided to move forward from there.
All right, so we're both on board then with the idea of Brie Larson playing Captain Marvel. We should just reiterate though that it is not a done deal. She has not formally been offered it, but she's in talks and it looks good.
It's gonna happen.
We want to hear what you folks think about Brie Larson possibly playing Captain Marvel. Let us know in the comments below.